Yeah, so this weekend, Eastern Sprints is our conference championship, and we'll pretty much see our main competition heading into IRAs. So it'll give us a good idea of where we stand. This past weekend, or actually last night, we just got home from Sierras down in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which was a fantastic team performance, and that's what Eastern Sprints is about. So we're pretty excited going into sprints this weekend that as a whole the team is looking pretty sharp, and we'll just be able to see how we stack up.
What's the season arc been like for you? How do you make sure you're getting to your best of your potential at the end of the season?
Yeah, I would say this weekend was a really good turning point for that. It's a new regatta that we haven't been to before. It's a fantastic course. We had beautiful conditions. We were racing people we've never raced before, so the pressure was kind of off of them. And so they were able to, they had 3 races, a new format with a time trial, which was fantastic for them because they could just zone into their own boat, which is something that we've really talked about these last couple of years, is just being able to be within yourselves and not focus necessarily outside the boat too much. They're extreme racers, they're amazing racers, and sometimes that can get in their way. And so this weekend, really, they were able to come off each time off the water and be able to say, okay, we know this part was really good of the race, we want to work on this part. And so right now, as Bibi was talking about, like from race to race, it's about taking those elements and seeing what parts you need to really fine tune. And I think this weekend really allowed us to do that. And we have one shot down the course at Eastern Sprints. And so they know that, and so this weekend they really took advantage of making those tweaks. And so then when we go this weekend, hopefully we can just really put together a great performance.
You're right there in the middle of the national perspective, but I know Stanford's been pretty much a powerhouse at lightweight crew. Is that a beatable group there? Is your team a team that could maybe pull something off here in a month or so?
I think so. I think we were out at Connect Cup just a couple weeks ago, and it was really only Stanford that was not there, and we were right in the mix. It was 4 boats across. I think it was from first to fourth, it was maybe 3.5 to 4 seconds. And Stanford, I think, is right in that mix too. So I think actually it's going to be a pretty exciting final at IRAs. And we keep talking about that we really have to take advantage of making those tweaks now because we want to put together a really great performance. But I think they and the team does believe that they are beatable. So and that's important for them to believe that, and I think we're right there.
And Dusty, is the culture of your team independent of the open weight crew, or is there some unique twist to the way you coach and the way this team responds to how this program has been built?
There's slight differences, but we really are one big team, and there's friends across the teams. They live together, so they feed off of each other. We practice together, so I think as a whole there really is a Wisconsin culture. On the lightweight side, there's just a little bit different personalities maybe compared to the open weight side, but as a whole I think the culture actually is very similar.
Some information from someone next to me before saying that you were racing against some open weight boats this last week. How does that change the dynamic, and what do you gain from that?
I think it's a really important part of being a successful lightweight team is going up against whomever. There's only about 7 lightweight programs in the country. And so, if you're only going to be racing lightweight teams, then you kind of just have that perspective. And so, when we were really successful in the mid-2000s, we were racing anyone. And the goal was to go out there and put together your best performance and hopefully win. And I think what it did was just allowed you to really enjoy racing and not worry about who was next to you. And so when you think of it that way, then lining up against lightweight teams is just not that it's not a big deal, but there's the pressure can come off a little bit because you're used to racing. And that's what we have to do right now, is just line up and race whomever. And, we had some good competition, but for the most part, we were really just working on racing ourselves and the clock. And the fun part about it was we got to race women that were bigger than us and do really well. And I think that gave them a lot of confidence as well.
What's the significance of Kate Ruffalo making that World University team?
Yeah, we're very, very excited for her. She's thrilled. That's another one of our goals, is to really help some of our athletes go on to that next level. So be it World University Games or under 23s, senior national team, Olympics. So I think that that's the next step. We have a lot of kids who are about to be at that level, and so having someone who is going on and doing that basically opens the door for them to really feel like that's a next step after they're done here. And so, hopefully there are other kids that want to follow in her footsteps.